Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have the most exciting video I think I've ever had on my channel, and I have a bit of an announcement. So if you follow me on Instagram, you already know this, but I have not yet announced it on my channel. I have alluded to it in some videos, but I haven't really, discussed it in depth. And my announcement is that I created a makeup brand. So if you have been following me for a really long time, you know that this channel used to be a makeup tutorial channel, and makeup has been and always be my first love. I really fell in love with makeup in like middle school or in high school, as I did a ton of competitive dance. And so when you do competitive dance, you wear a lot of stage makeup, and I really got into it. I really fell in love with the whole process. So like I said, makeup has always been my first love, and so it should come as no surprise that my sister and I put our brains together and we created a makeup brand. So my brand is called Muse Beauty, and it revolves around this whole concept that makeup is art and makeup can be inspired by art. So we are going to be releasing collections, and we wanted our debut collection to be something really special. And so I always go back to this art movement because it's my favorite probably, and it is Impressionism. So I want you to meet the Impressionism palette by Muse Beauty. So this is a 16 pan palette with 8 matte shades and 8 shimmer shades. And isn't she beautiful? The mattes in this palette are super pigmented, which is great because nothing is more frustrating than you dipping into a matte and being like, this didn't do anything for me. So the mattes are super pigmented, but they're still very blendable, which was really important to me because I love looks like this that are like smoky and kind of blown out. And the shimmer shades in this palette are actually really easy to apply with your fingertips for a high impact look. And there are actually 2 duochrome shades in here. The first one is Scintillate right here. She is a maroon with like a turquoise blue green shift to her, and then the other duochrome is the shade Sunrise, which is a really fiery orange with a gold shift. But personally, my favorite shades in this entire palette are Amaranthine and Water Lily. I am actually wearing both these shades on my eyes right now. And actually later in this video, I did do a mini tutorial showing you how I got this eye look using these 4 shades right here, this little quad, and also this bottom shade. So the palette comes in recyclable packaging, which is really cool. And in addition, it also comes with this ginormous, beautiful, really high quality mirror. It was so important that we included a really great mirror in here. The front of the palette is inspired by Monet's Water Lily paintings. They are some of the most iconic paintings to the Impressionist art movement, and so we wanted to create a cover that was inspired by this super iconic work. But actually, fun fact, this is not Monet's original water lilies. This is actually an original piece of art that my sister created for this palette. You can see more photos of the palette on our website. I know I'm kind of like waving it around in your face, but there are definitely really nice photographs on our website, which will be linked down below. So the palette is available for purchase. She's $42 and you get free shipping on our website. So let's talk a little bit about the color story of this palette. Now this palette is obviously inspired by the Impressionist movement. So when I think of Impressionism as a movement, I generally think about natural landscapes and also the way that light, be it sunlight or starlight, interacts with our natural world. So a lot of the shades in this palette are reflective of really beautiful landscapes or gardens. Now I know this palette looks really intimidating because it is full of these beautiful, vibrant colors, and people generally tend to gravitate towards neutral colors. But like seriously, this is the most user-friendly palette I've ever tried because it can actually be organized into quads. So each little section of the palette, organized into 4 shades, can be used as a quad. So these colors go really beautifully together, and that's what I have on my eyes right now. These shades go really nicely together. These shades look gorgeous together. And then lastly, these 4 right here, also amazing. So if you're new to makeup, if you're new to using bright colors in makeup, this is the palette to get because it has so many beautiful colors. There's going to be something in here that you fall in love with, or even multiple that you fall in love with, and they are so user-friendly. So right now I'm going to show you how I created this look using the Impressionism palette. Okay, so clearly we've traveled a little bit back in time because my eyes are not done, and what I'm actually gonna do right now is show you how I create my, go-to eyeshadow look using the Impressionism palette, and I'm going to be using this quad right here. These colors just really speak to me. I really, really love using these like warm browns and warm pinks and fuchsias on my skin tone. I think it's super flattering. So I'm gonna start by priming my eyes, and in my opinion, if you want to get the best results out of any product, you have to be priming your eyes however you want. I prefer to use concealer, but really laying down a nice even base and something for the product to stick to is going to be the best guaranteed way to get the most out of your product. So I have always preferred to use concealer as the way that I prime my eyes. I've always done this, and it's so weird doing this on camera because I haven't done a makeup tutorial on my channel in a very, very long time. So I apologize if I'm a little rusty, but this is actually how my channel started. I was a makeup tutorial channel. Okay, so my eyes have been primed. I have just like a nice even canvas now for me to work on top of, and now we're gonna get into the fun part. Now, using a clean brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Giverny. This is like a warm camel tan color. It's really beautiful, and with all shadows, you tap it into the pan and then you tap off the excess, and then make sure that there's no excess product on the brush, and it really ensures even application. And I'm gonna just use this to fluff it into my crease really lightly. You can see it's not like a crazy powerful color, and that's what I want. I just want like a little bit of something in my crease for me to work off of with the other shades. I really wanted to have a shade like this in the palette because every time I buy a palette from any other brand, I always look for a nice transition shade to put in my crease, and for me this was the perfect shade because it's warm, it's creamy, it's blendable. It just adds a really nice shadow to the crease area without being too intense, too much, too pigmented, too dark. You can see it just added a really nice touch of warmth to my crease, and we're just gonna do that on the other eye. I just use windshield wiper motions to place the color down, and then when there's little product left on my brush, I'll just go in circular motions to buff away any lines that might have occurred. I love this shade. I really, really love this shade. If there's a day where I just want like a very quick look, no color in it, I will definitely dip into the shade Giverny because it's just the perfect warm neutral color to just stick in your crease really fast and just dash out the door. So now, using another brush, I'm gonna go into this shade Amaranthine, which is one of my favorite shades in the palette, I think. It is just the most perfect, super pigmented matte fuchsia color, and you can see, like, if you can see on my brush, like there's a lot of product that comes off, so it's super important that you tap off the excess. And now watch the magic. I'm gonna put this a little bit lower in my crease, and it just really adds the most beautiful fuchsia color to the look. It's so pretty. I always prefer to add a little bit and then keep going back into the pan to apply more color. That's just my personal style, but you can apply however you want. And something I like doing is kind of adding like a flick right here, so there's like a nice elongated cat eye shape, or fox eye shape, I guess. I think that's what's trendy right now, is like a fox eye. So I just like to flick it out in the corner here to add that elongated shape to the eye. I think it's super pretty. So that's kind of what we're left with here. It's really nice. It's still subtle, but it is definitely packing a punch in terms of color. So that's one thing I wanted to briefly mention, is that if you are scared of color, this is really the perfect palette for you, because there are so many different colors for you to work with. And really, truly, when we created this brand, what we wanted to do is create a really fun yet easy to use palette that anybody can use. And because we understand that not everybody is like a pro makeup artist, we wanted these shades to be very easy to apply. And so you can definitely apply these shades with your fingertips or with a brush. It doesn't really matter what you use. I do think that mattes work a little bit better with brushes and shimmers apply best with fingertips. And so you'll see me apply the shade Water Lily with my fingertip, but in general, you can really have creative freedom to do whatever you want with these shades. Okay, so that looks beautiful. Every time I use this palette, I'm like, it's so nice. So now what I'm gonna do is go in with my fingertips and I'm going to take the shade Water Lily. Now, Water Lily I would describe as like an icy rosy pink. It's definitely on the cooler side of pinks, but it's still super, super wearable. It's not too icy. It doesn't have too much silver in it to where it looks very, very frosty on warmer skin tones. But you'll see as that I apply it, it is just so wearable and it's so shimmery and so high impact. I do think that fingertips are my personal favorite way to apply the shimmer shades. I think it just works the best. But I definitely have taken a flat brush like this to apply shimmer shades and it works really beautifully too. And I am using the mirror that comes with the palette. We wanted to make sure that the palette had a really beautiful mirror because, I don't know, I feel like mirrors and palettes are super important because a lot of times when you're traveling, hotel bathrooms do not have good lighting. And so I always, when I'm doing my makeup when I'm traveling, is I sit by the window and I'll use whatever mirrors in my palette in order to do my entire face of makeup. And so having a super high quality mirror in our palette was so important to me. So you can see how easily that applied. I'm just tapping out any lines that happened. Sorry, the lighting keeps changing because it's like sunny and then it's cloudy. I don't know what's going on. This look is really beautiful and I could definitely stop right here, but I do want to add a little bit of depth in the outer corner just because I want to use this shade Haystacks. So what I'm going to do is grab the brush that had the shade Amaranthine on it and I'm going to take the shade Haystacks, just tap it in there to get a little bit of pigment, tap off the excess, and then I'm just going to focus this on the outer corner just to add a bit of depth. I do think that adding, you know, a darker shade like Haystacks in the outer corner does bring a lot of visual interest to the eye. And it also helps to kind of elongate the eye if you flick it out in the corner like I'm doing right now. I think that's really nice. So with this shade, I like concentrating it in the outer V. I always start right here in the outer corner and then I'll drag it down to the lash line. And then what I'll do is start flicking it up into the crease. And it creates a nice little V in the corner. And it really just makes your eyes look, I don't know, it's just like a little bit vampier, a little bit sexier, I don't know. I'm gonna take the shade that had Giverny on it with no product on it. I didn't dip back into the palette. I'm just going to use this brush that didn't have any additional product on it to just blend any lines that are in the crease, which there aren't, but I like to be thorough. Okay, so now we're gonna do the bottom lash line. I'm gonna take a small rounded brush and grab the shade Haystacks. And I'm going to just smudge this on the outer, I would say, third of my eye. Just like this. You can instantly see that it adds a little bit of like a smoky effect to the eye. It makes the look a little bit more sultry. And now just for the sake of completeness, I'm going to grab the shade Amaranthine. Like a really tiny amount. This is a different brush. This is another round definer brush, but it's a little bit fluffier. And I'm going to just smudge this oh so slightly underneath Haystacks. Just a teeny tiny bit. So you just add a little like hint of that fuchsia color underneath that area. Okay, so I kind of lied. I'm not just going to use this quad right here. I'm gonna dip into the shade Wisp, which is a really beautiful light champagne shimmer color. And I'm just gonna pop this in the inner corner for just a little bit of a highlight. And it really just like brightens up the inner corner so much and makes the eyes look a lot bigger. And I'm also gonna put a little bit under my brow bone, just a little bit. And you know what else is, this particular shade is beautiful on the cheekbone. So I have a fluffy highlight brush right now. I'm gonna tap that into Wisp and I'm gonna hit this on my cheekbone really lightly. And it just adds like a little something. It just adds a little bit of something. And if you want like a more blinding in your face highlight, you can definitely pile it on and make it very high impact. But I just personally don't go for that anymore, so I leave it as that. So now I'm just gonna pop on some mascara really quick and I will show you the finished look. So this is a finished makeup look, and if you have been observant in my videos, I have actually been wearing more makeup in my videos, and it's because I've been using this palette like crazy. You can definitely see that my palette is very beat up, like it's definitely well loved. I really think that if I hadn't been a chemical engineering major, I would have been an art history major, because I love art history so much. I took an art history course in college just for fun, and I really loved it. I've always been really creative and very gifted at drawing and design, and so, you know, makeup artistry became an extension of the artistic skill that I had. I do miss drawing and painting. Like, I wish I did it more often. I just don't, because I feel like I don't have the time to do it, but that's absolutely not true. I should make it a priority to get back into it, because art is incredibly therapeutic. It's really cathartic, and you create something really beautiful. But anyway, art and art history have always been really big parts of my life, and my sister is also very artistically gifted, and both she and I love makeup. So in a nutshell, basically, Musée Beauty is a cruelty-free brand that creates really high quality makeup that's inspired by art history. We want our product line to not require a ton of expensive tools to create bold, wearable looks, and so as you saw in my tutorial, you know, you can use your fingertips on a lot of the shades, and I know actually a lot of people who use only their fingertips with this palette. It's really meant to, you know, seamlessly blend into your lifestyle, to allow you to really harness your creativity to create really fun, creative looks with your makeup. So our debut collection is Impressionism, and we are expanding this collection to include not just this palette, but some other items. We post a ton of really beautiful creative makeup looks over on our Instagram page at Musée Beauty, which will be linked down below. So you should definitely follow if you want to be updated on, you know, new product releases, any creative makeup looks for inspiration, even international shipping, which we're working very hard on. So overall, I have been working so hard on this palette and on this brand with my sister, and truly, like, it's been one of the most rewarding experiences of my entire career to see this palette come to life. Like, just the amount of thought and the amount of testing and the amount of just effort that went into creating this palette, it took a very long time, and so I really am proud of it, and I really want to share it with you guys. So if you do decide to pick up this palette, I would really love to hear your thoughts on it. Please do tag us at Musée Beauty on Instagram on any of your unboxings, or if you want to create any sort of beautiful makeup look with it, we would love to see it. If you have any questions about the Impressionism palette or Musée Beauty as a whole, then definitely comment them down below, and I would love to get back to you. But yeah, you know where to go. The Impressionism palette is linked down below in my info box, so you can definitely check out more pictures of the palette and the shades and swatches. Our website is definitely worth checking out, because we have, you know, our zine digitally uploaded to there with a lookbook. We also have a blog post up with really great creative writing pieces and beautiful makeup looks. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I wanted you to meet my daughter. She's so beautiful. I'm so proud of her, and I really hope you love her. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and spending this time with me. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!